Hey, do you guys like RoboCop? This video is about RoboCop. RoboCop Rogue City. Can you believe I've never seen a RoboCop movie? I mean, I hadn't seen one. I watched them all while doing this review. Never really felt the need to do so because I've already seen bits and pieces of the first film and it was the most important things. Like Murphy's death scene, the Ed 209 stairs scene, the scene where he shoots that guy in the comically long arms scene. Now when it comes to the second and third movie, that I basically had no knowledge of, and still haven't seen as of writing this part of the script. So here's future me expressing how I felt about the films. They both suck. Also, I watched the remake when it came out, but I don't remember anything about it other than that one scene where it's just his head and a pair of lungs. Why did they show him that he was just a pair of lungs? That's stupid. So we got another FPS on our hands, but this one is basically the opposite of the other ones that I've reviewed on this channel. Instead of being a fast-paced shooter, it's a much slower and tankier version of one. You can run in this game, but it's little more than just a slight addition in speed. You are meant to slow down, lock in, and take out criminal scum in a fantastically gruesome manner. This is honestly the biggest selling point for me, and I really don't care that it's a superficial thing at best. Obliterating motherfuckers that deserve it is very satisfying. Even more so given recent events. I'll let you guess whether I'm referring to events on the world stage or in my personal life. It's a bit of both. So, there are a few weapons to choose from. The Auto 9 being the only one that you have to have at all times, with a secondary slot being for whatever you end up picking up around the level, or off of a body. The selection is alright, I guess. There isn't really that much to say about them individually. Like, I couldn't really tell the difference in between these two submachine guns, but I think I prefer the Uzi looking one more, maybe? I do prefer the AK to the other assault rifle. That one reminds me of Fallout 3. It even has the zoom in thing instead of ADSing. Anything with the scope was bad other than the snipers. They sucked because they zoom in way too much and it's a pain to fire. It doesn't really work. Especially if you have the slow-mo ability on. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just bad at not liking this. I always felt like I couldn't exactly tell what was happening when I was doing this though. Other than that, the only other complaint I have is that the pump action shotgun doesn't pump. Why? We get a Spaz 12 later, and yes, that does have an option to not pump it and at being semi-auto, but I mean, come on, give me my pump action, please. Just feels a lot better when you pump it. In terms of damage though, they're both good, but the Spaz 12 is better, I think, pretty sure. We also get some gems like the grenade launcher, the rocket launcher, and even that dope sniper that explodes things from the first movie. Although that one is literally just in one single level unless I missed it in other places. However, my favorite is probably still the Auto 9. I like burst shot weapons. It can easily deal with most of the enemies that the game throws at you. Later on though, there are enemies that it's really not that good at dealing with, like these armored guys. But that's where these things come in. Is this RAM? Is this robotic Copa? We have these different boards that will give us different bonuses, like higher damage, full auto, armor piercing, etc. You gotta use these connectors to get the power to the bonuses that you want. They have different percentages that will boost different attributes depending on where you place them on the board. And there are also different directions in which they will actively conduct power to. This is important because there are some negative effects that you're gonna want to try to avoid getting. On one of the higher end boards that you get in New Game Plus, you basically have to take a 30% reduction if you want everything on the board, but that's a really, really big board and it makes it worth it. You could also just avoid that one, I guess. But yeah, sometimes you can avoid it. Sometimes if you want to have everything, you're gonna have to take at least one negative hit and stuff. There's also this mixer thing to mix the connectors that you have into new ones. I didn't really understand how it worked very well, so I didn't use this. I don't get it. So at one point, the Auto 9 glitched on me. I had the effects of two boards at the same time, and these effects were full auto and the ammo feeder. So basically, I was shooting full auto, and I never had to reload. So I can just hold down the mouse button and I would just keep spraying infinitely. I didn't realize this was a glitch at first. I thought this was just the board that I picked that was the ability, and I was very confused why they would give you such an overpowered thing. I eventually took that off because I didn't want to use it, either because I got bored or I wanted a different board or something. And then when I went to go back to it, I realized, hey, none of the boards that I have give me both the things that I had at that point. There is actually a board in the game that you get once you do New Game Plus that does give you that ability to just hold down the fire button indefinitely. I don't know how this glitch happens. It just happens. I don't know what triggers it, but yeah, I had 2 different boards in effect at the same time, which you're not supposed to be able to do. Other than just shooting, you can also grab enemies and throw them pretty violently. While you are grabbing them, things look pretty awkward. This is where I should mention that this game is what you would call a budget title. AA instead of AAA. It's pretty fitting because the first film was basically a high-end B movie. Not sure if the budget itself reflected that, but the reliance on blood, gore, and explosions sure did. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm saying that's a good thing. B movies are the best kind of movies. But yeah, this game is a bit cheaper than what you might expect. Not a bad thing though. The graphics are nice enough, and RoboCop himself looks very, very good. I really like a lot of these shots. It just looks beautiful. They really did take their time to make this motherfucker look like RoboCop. And RoboCop from the first movie, not like the blue tinted one from the second movie. That was weird. They made him look as good as Copa. Is this reused RoboCopa joke? Some of the other faces are a bit off at times, a little awkward looking. I think the hair looks like it does because of my settings, maybe, perhaps? I don't remember messing with the settings, but I did start this game a few months ago, so maybe I lowered the graphics to get the game to run at a better frame rate or something, I don't know. Other than that, the game is pretty well presented. Worst part though might have been the Hispanic black lady subtly turning Scottish or something.
Oh, thank God you're safe.
That was funny. Might look pretty mid to some people, but the game has a lot of environments that are basically fully destructible. Well, not fully, but mostly dead. Like RoboCop. There is this one part where they're firing a machine gun down this hallway, and you have to break through the wall to get to the room where the machine gunner is. Very cool idea. I was sitting there for a while wondering, why hasn't he stopped shooting yet? They usually don't shoot this long. But yeah, you can just plow your way through the walls and get to the machine gunner. It's pretty cool. Besides the gunplay, there's also these abilities that you can unlock on this upgrade screen. Some combat related, others more environmental things, like being able to heal off of these power boxes or bouncing bullets off of some surfaces like he does in the second movie. There are 4 main combat abilities, at least that's the ones that I got. I don't think there's any more, but maybe. First, we have this basic stun that you can do that later on turns into a shockwave that will actually take out some weaker enemies. The cooldown on this one is pretty low, but since its range is so short, there are plenty of times where you're not going to be able to even use it at all. Next is bullet time, or the slow-mo option. This one doesn't last long, but the cooldown is even shorter. Not actually, but it felt that way. I honestly would advise against using this for the most part because it kind of made the game a little bit of a pushover. I think I played this on normal. I don't remember what difficulty I selected a few months ago when I started playing this game, but I'm pretty sure I was playing on normal. So yeah, it made the game pretty easy until it didn't, and it almost barely mattered, which was very strange. It's really good for the normal enemies, but some of the harder ones, it didn't matter that I was in slow-mo at all. But yeah, the normal enemies just kind of melts them. We also have this dash, which is actually a pretty good movement option, but it's also good for taking out weaker enemies. Just kind of plow through them. I don't remember him doing this in any of the movies, but he must have. Finally, we have the shield, and I assume it gives us more armor. I didn't really notice the effects of it while I was using it, but I did get it pretty late into the game, at which point things were pretty chaotic. Enemies are pretty simple, most of them being exactly the same, just with different weapons. Very easy to take out, and honestly, I don't mind that at all, because that's kind of the point of RoboCop, I think, just kind of shooting stupid, dumbass criminals in the face, and just obliterating them with relative ease. I love power fantasy. Destroy criminal scum. Is this RoboCopa? Then there are these guys with the helmets that do take a bit more punishment. I usually just grab them though, since that's just the quickest way of killing them. Either that or just throw something at them. The bikers are not too hard to take out, but they do move around a lot. The game will give you a nice slow-mo cam once you nail them. I don't really know why. It's funny because sometimes they somehow die off screen and you'll still get like the 2 second of slow-mo, which it's just weird. Kind of goofy funny. There are these guys that call in reinforcements, but I think I only had that happen once outside the first time they showed up. I didn't notice them influencing anything really at all, but I don't know. Snipers are pretty easy to deal with. They have this red laser that will shine in your face so you know exactly when they're aiming at you. On the flip side though, if you take too long to either get out of the way, take them out, or both, then you're going to be taking a lot of damage from their shots. There are these ringleader guys that apparently give the enemy troops morale or something. Does it make them stronger? Does it make them want to fight you more? I'm not exactly sure, but I usually try to take them out first. Much later, we get these heavily armored guys that take a pretty decent beating. You can punch them in the face a few times and they just don't care. And that's usually a one-shot for most enemies. You also can't grab them either, so, you know, they're a threat. Not as big a threat as these guys, though. Based off of one of the failed RoboCop 2s from the second movie, which is called RoboCop 2. It's a very gnarly scene. These guys can take a decent beating, but the biggest problem when dealing with them is their actual numbers. When the game throws them at you, it throws a lot of them at you. Their first encounter is probably one of the hardest encounters in the whole game. They're also immune to the shockwave ability and the dash as well. Their weak spot is their head. They reportedly attack the other robots if you manage to knock off the head without actually killing it, but I never noticed this happening except for one time. I think once they lose their head, the other robots immediately realize they're an enemy and take them out or something. More often than not, though, I would shoot off their head and then continue to shoot because I was still holding down the button, and the like 2 or 3 shots that end up hitting them would be enough to kill them anyway, so it just wasn't very influential on what was happening. Also, some of them, before they die, will sprint at you and then explode, that was interesting, I guess. I don't know. Oh, and there's also some enemies that run at you with explosive barrels like once or twice. I didn't even remember that. Yeah, I'm not showing footage of that on screen. I'm not going to look at the one instance that happened. Hell nah, bruh. This next one is basically a boss, Ed 209, the classic. Not much to say here other than he does a decent amount of damage and you really should be throwing explosives at him. If you don't have that though, the next best thing is literally any other weapon besides the Auto 9 because it just seems to not do that much damage to it. I could be wrong though, but it felt like it wasn't doing as much damage as any other weapon. You know, it's a great weapon for normal enemies, but anything a little more sturdy, you really don't want to use it. I'll get to the other boss in this game towards the end. So far, if you haven't actually played this game for yourself and have only seen footage from this video, you might think that this game is purely a level-based FPS game. But that's not the whole game. This game has a lot of slower, which is already saying a lot because you don't move fast to begin with, exploratory segments, which would be police investigations and dialogue options you have. These are fine. I don't think they overstay their welcome too much, but there are going to be people that absolutely loathe this type of gameplay. The old God of War community. It's not very deep stuff, but it is deep enough to be generally acceptable. I do think it drags out a bit too much after the first mission, but that might have been because I had just played the first part of the game, which is very high action intense, and then I left the game to go do the Oblivion video, which was totally worth it. It totally was worth not playing this game and playing Oblivion. And then finally coming back to the game to one of these non-combat segments. Basically, I remember liking the shooty bang bang parts, and I wasn't getting that. I was just getting blah 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 Charlie Brown teacher stuff. And there was very small amounts of shooty bang bang, and I loathed every time I shot the last guy and would go into slow-mo because I knew there was no more bad guys in the area and I had to talkie stuff. There are a few different actions that you can take to get a few different outcomes. Like here, you can breach this door, killing the criminals, or you can find other ways to get them to open the door willingly, in which case you can actually arrest the guy instead of just putting him in a body bag. Now, how much impact does this have on the overall trajectory of the game, though? I'm pretty sure it's basically none. I didn't do multiple playthroughs or anything, and I didn't look up anything online, but I'm pretty sure this is mostly just flavor text type of stuff. For example, there's these quests related to this journalist in which you can totally f*** her over. Obviously, I did that. Not just because she f***ed me over by recording my massive malfunction and then broadcasting it at the beginning of the game, but also because she's a f***ing journalist. And to be fair to me, she totally deserved it. Illegally entering a building in which I am actively working, having information that she obtained through non-legal means. There's these evidence things you can pick up throughout the levels, like stolen stuff, nuke, fake money, things like that. And one of those things was in her storage unit that she asked me to go into. Yeah. After I arrested her in the previous mission, she thought that was I was gonna let that slide. That's why I say it probably doesn't actually matter and it's more just flavor text things. She did get super pissed off at me though and tried to make me feel bad by saying that I wasn't the real Alex Murphy and other stuff like that.
You're going to let OCP scam innocent people. You're nothing more than a police manual on metal legs. They may call you Murphy, but you're nothing like that guy. He's dead. The documents here say that his wife is getting a widow's pension. Do you think OCP would do that for a cop who's still alive?
You know when kids just start saying shit to try to make you feel bad? Like they'll say literally anything even if you know for a fact that they don't actually believe it at all? That's basically what's happening here. She didn't know Alex Murphy, I think. For all she knows, I could totally be in line with the pre-Robo Murphy when it comes to my desire to not break the law.
I follow the law.
Sometimes when you hold on to the law too tightly, you move away from justice. But what dysfunctional machine could know about that?
Shut the fuck up, lady. I ended the game with her not trusting me, which in my book is a good thing. She also did the most journo thing ever, took my totally neutral response and framed it as support for a political candidate.
One of the more contentious points brought up during the election is the construction of Delta City. Many believe that Delta City will destroy old Detroit. Mayor Cusack spoke at length about the illegal evictions that OCP has been planning in order to start the construction. Other candidates, namely John Mills, believe that Delta City is a chance to clean up the city. What are your thoughts on this subject? Is Delta City the future of old Detroit?
I would focus on current Detroit.
So you agree with Mills that the current-day Detroit needs serious cleaning up? Thank you for clarifying your stance on this important topic. This has been RoboCop for Channel 9. Samantha Ortez, signing off. We've got what we needed. Talk to you later, Robo.
What a bitch. I was clearly being neutral. I also said I didn't want to do the interview, by the way.
I've been sent here to conduct an interview with you. For some reason, people value your opinion when it comes to the election.
No, thank you.
Roll the tape.
And then she didn't even let me clarify. She just walks away. You know what also sucks? You can't save in this game. Yeah, all the saving is completely automatic. You cannot manually save in this game. That sucks. That was also a thing in the Titus RoboCop game. Was this an homage to that? That's really dumb. It's not the biggest deal because it didn't ever like mess me up, but the game did crash a few times. And I mean, I didn't lose much progress at all when it did happen, but I could imagine that could have happened to somebody and they wouldn't have been very happy about it. In terms of the story, it's the best RoboCop sequel, which, I mean, isn't saying that much. The game takes place in between RoboCop 2 and 3. Not that you could tell by some of the things that are happening in this game. The threat of a police strike is back, even though that was a thing that was being set up in the first movie and then actually happened in the second movie. People in the precinct are talking about going on strike, but you know, cops don't do that. We don't go on strike. But you know, we already did do that. That happened already. It seemingly did nothing, so why would we even bother doing it again? There are a lot of references in this game to the first film. Lines of dialogue is the most prominent one, some basically being copy-pasted from the first film. But then there are also action sets that are the same, like Murphy breaking the TVs in his old house, although I'm pretty sure this is like a flashback thing, so it can kind of get away with it. Anyways, the story involves RoboCop succumbing to malfunctions, from his POV presented as flashback hallucinations and stuff like that. I think it's pulled off pretty well. You glitch around, teleport back, and go through looping rooms. I was questioning what was real at some points, not wanting to shoot enemies and then have it turn out to actually be some of my fellow officers. Yeah, this bitch was recording us, which makes people trust us less. Yeah, thanks, that helps a lot. So now some OCP stooge that's in charge of the precinct is giving us crap now. And now we have to talk to a shrink on a semi-regular basis and whatnot. We're also given a monitoring chip so they can check us out or something. And on top of all of that, there's also this new guy in town that we need to stop from teaming up with some of the other gangs and whatnot, because otherwise bad things are going to happen. And we also get some info that a cop has gone missing. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the same time. We eventually run into the missing cop's informant.
They call me Pickles. And you guessed it, there's a funny story behind that name. This one time, I saw Torchhead stealing a delivery truck. I went after them, hoping that a VCR would fall off the truck, you know. But... so they left. Selling pickles.
Oh, he's still going.
We'll have a couple of jars laying around if you want 'em.
So you are an opportunist.
I guess I missed that story, okay. He is his own character and all. He likes movies and we can convince him to stop being a homeless nuke addict loser. I'm not going to go into it here, it really deviates from the main story a bit too much. He directs us to the missing cop's wife and we talk to her and get some more information and find out that he was investigating missing bodies. We then make our way to a concert that is being performed by a gang leader and a shootout happens. I like how Directive 2 pops up here because, you know, there's innocent-ish people around, so, you know, I tried to take everybody out as fast as possible to avoid any casualties. I don't know if that's an actual thing that can happen in this part, but I was just role-playing as RoboCop. Am I RoboCopa? He wasn't innocent at all. Wannabe Joker here gets thrown across the room and he does not care at all, but as soon as I start breaking his stuff, he starts singing like a songbird, a singbird, a bird. What's the saying? I don't know. The new guy has intercepted our partner, so we have to take Chucklefuck and trade for her. But then we start malfunctioning again. Joker gets killed and we can't do anything about it. Turns out this is the brother of one of the guys that killed us in the first film. He's the guy who gets like transformed into a mutant with the toxic waste and then gets like completely annihilated by the car. He shoots Lewis, but she lives, you know, because RoboCop 3. Murphy is big upset when he comes to. There's this new kid at the station that was appointed by OCP, and he has a whole side story on trying to be like a real cop and how other cops don't trust him and you can stand up for him and teach him how to be a good cop and all that kind of stuff. I like him for the most part, I guess. I don't know, not much more to say. Anyways, we eventually get a lead on the missing cop and go after it. We find a tape of him being tortured and apparently the new guy is involved. See, I told you it was all going to tie together. Did that make it into the edit? Probably not. We get a clue of where they were going to take him and then we go there. And sadly, we find him.
RoboCop, your body temperature is very low. Are you okay?
I am in the freezer.
What is a freezer even doing there?
They used it to store Griggs' body.
Then we team up with some officers and oh, it's Ed 209. Cool.
RoboCop, can I have a moment of your time?
Hell nah, lady, I ain't talking to you. Next part has us competing against Ed 209 to see who gets more kills. I really like this, it's just like a neat little idea, but it makes me act faster and try to be better at the game.
Oh, I can't wait to tell everyone at the precinct
Oh, shit.
how you kicked Ed's ass.
Oh shit. Oh, he's done. Okay, good. I thought he was gonna kill me. Oh shit! We catch up with the leader of the biker gang and then surprise, surprise, Ed starts malfunctioning. Either that or he's just really pissed off from me messing with him earlier. Why didn't we try to save that guy at all? That's weird. I really like this boss fight, even if it is just shoot the guy and try not to get shot. The commotion gives the biker guy a chance to get away though. After we visit our partner in the hospital, we overhear that some bodies have been going missing. Fast forwarding a bit, we talk to the old man, who sounds nothing like he should, maybe? I don't know, when I heard him, I didn't even realize who I was talking to here. Why, but what exactly, why are we having this conversation? It makes a little more sense later on once you know what's going on, the whole grand scheme of things, but I don't know. It's just, yeah, like him asking us if we're doing okay and talking about how dying is kind of bad. It's just, it just kind of happens here. I forget exactly how we got to this point of the game, but the OCP stooge is attacking us with robots, and who is this guy? Okay, so I didn't record everything I did in this game, and the story stuff, again, it's still the best sequel to RoboCop, but it really just didn't stick in my mind. I was going through some stuff while I was playing this game. Maybe that had to do with it, but I don't know. It just wasn't very memorable. Maybe I was getting distracted. I don't know. But yeah, here we say that we captured Wendell and we got a confession out of him. I didn't remember that until rewatching the footage. But yeah, basically the same thing happens from like the first movie with the bald guy who isn't Copa. With the guy with the glasses? Wait, no, not that guy. You know, the guy from the first movie who says, bitches leave.
Bitches leave.
That guy. Basically the same thing happens when we arrested him and this Wendell guy in this game where they go like, I have connections or whatever. So did we just assume it was the stooge? I don't know. But yeah, we don't arrest this guy even though he was attacking us because this was like a test for his robots, but he clearly was just attacking us though. Right? I don't know, bruh. But yeah, he wants to replace the human cops with robots, which, yeah, that sucks. Like, not as a plot point, I just mean, like, in general. Like, that sucks for the people in this universe. So yeah, we go to prison where Wendell is being held to try to get more information to figure out who he's actually working with. We talk to him and he says a bunch of vague shit because, of course, he does. He mentions a new OCP project that will give us our old life back, more or less. We assume this has something to do with the missing bodies from before, but before we can get any more info on it, a prison riot starts. This is a really good section of the game, very fun, a very interesting location. It reminded me of Terminator 2. I know they're not in a prison and it's like a mental ward or whatever, but there's bars there. It's pretty similar. This makes me feel like a real-life police officer. Turns out, big surprise, the riot was just a distraction to get Wendell out. After splitting the prisoners in half in the least sexual way I can possibly do, Wendell gets away and sends a hit out on our partner at the hospital. Luckily though, she's a badass and doesn't die until the third movie, so she makes it out just fine here. Our shrink calls us and tells us that her computer was stolen, that OCP told her repeatedly to keep her notes on our sessions on her computer, and that now she's afraid that once they realize that the notes aren't actually there, somebody, whoever took it, are going to come after her. So we meet with her, have our last talk therapy session real quick, and then a pizza shows up.
Hello, Dr. Blanche. I got a special delivery for you.
But I haven't ordered anything.
I only need your signature. Can you please open the door?
Oh!
Caution, engaging target. Not alone. RoboCop is guarding the target.
Oh God, were they here to kill me?
We escort her out of the building and save this cat. We then follow the doc's computer signal into the sewers. There we find out that Wendell Antonovsky is an employee of OCP. Not even that he's working for somebody at OCP, but he works for OCP directly.
You're saying that OCP has Wendell on their payroll?
The old man is the one who signed his contract.
So we're off to OCP, obviously. Oh look, it's the same guy. Yeah, so there's like a political thing, so it's kind of mumbo jumbo stuff that's going on. There's an election that's going on. This guy is like, I'm guessing he's like being paid by OCP or something. I don't know, I didn't pay attention. The other guy is the guy from the second movie, the kind of like quirky, goofy guy. Yeah, I like that guy. I prefer him, but I didn't choose him. I stayed neutral. So we show up to OCP proper, and there's really nothing here other than this video waiting for us.
When he dies, he takes nothing with him. Until now. Afterlife, OCP's answer to death itself. As a frontrunner in human-machine hybrids, OCP is focused on proving that death is no longer the end. With a number of successful prototypes, our team continues to work tirelessly to ensure Afterlife is more stable than any of our previous cybernetic achievements. We've come a long way since OCP's first cyborg.
This is how I see myself.
To now.
Hi, I'm Eve, and I've died, but that's not stopping me. With the newest development in cyborg research, OCP was able to give me another chance. And now I'm back to enjoying my life. Or should I say, afterlife. Because at OCP, the goal is no longer to live, but to thrive after death. And since our friends in the government are fighting for human rights for all people that were once pronounced dead, my life will return to what it was in no time.
Under my legislation, Robo Cop and all future cyborgs will be granted human rights. They'll be able to live, vote, and run their businesses just like the rest of us. Vote Mills, vote RoboCop.
Afterlife. Eternity. Today.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know someone was here.
Eve,
It's actually Meg.
are you like me?
So you've seen the ad, huh? Sorry, I'm not a robot. Just a commercial actress. I've been a face for a lot of stinkers, but good luck selling Afterlife. Technology that won't be available to us for the next 100 years or so, I've heard.
So this whole thing revolves around a product that doesn't exist? At least according to this broad, but I mean, there was real money put into this thing. And we can guess that those disappearing bodies with the brain still intact were being used as experiments. In the second movie, the biggest sticking point is them trying to recreate what happened to Murphy. They technically managed to get it to work with Kane, but he did go insane, or it didn't work, or he was already insane and that's why it didn't work. They didn't give him his drugs. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air whether that was a success or not based on who the candidate was. But anyways, this game comes back to that whole idea, I guess. Anyways, we confront the old man and... oh, it's this guy. Yeah, the old man died off screen, and as soon as it happened, the Japanese company from the third movie were already getting ready to make moves. This dude implies that the Afterlife program was being made more or less so that the old man could not die. Didn't exactly happen though, did it? But that still doesn't explain Wendell at all. Becker is putting a stop to the Afterlife project, and thus no longer paying Wendell. He's basically being fired. And yeah, I guess he doesn't care enough for us to go and arrest him, even though we could totally do that. But I guess we're not, because now Becker's like, yeah, the police no longer exist. It's just going to be my robots and you. Maybe. Yeah, he also just assumes that Wendell's going to fizzle out because he's no longer being paid and he can't pay his goons. So he's just going to be, the market will work itself out. I'm pretty sure he actually says that. So yeah, since this dickwad is in charge, nothing's happening and the police are getting laid off.
Bitches, come!
Hey, he said the thing, but in reverse.
Bitches, leave!
There's this inaugural expo that Becker is hosting. RoboCop deduces that Wendell will probably try to pull something there since, you know, he's being cut off. So we decide to go and try and stop him. Yo, it's RoboCop 2. That's cool. I like seeing that. That's cool that they made that model.
Those efforts gave us RoboCop and RoboCop 2.
Why are people cheering? RoboCop 2 was a total disaster. Speaking of total disasters...
Is that normal?
Huh?
So now we have to clear out the expo halls of these terrible, terrible things. Also, another Ed 209.
And don't be afraid. Even if the EMP device fries your circuits or something, is it really such a big sacrifice to stop this mess? I'm willing to make it.
We get to Wendell, and then we start glitching hard.
That chip OCP implanted in your brain? The one that was supposed to help you. It served as my collateral. It made sure that you could never touch me. It's activated with this. But I'm sure you already put that together.
So this was installed in us after the first glitch happened, So the first glitch was completely real, and every other time it was just because of the chip? Okay. So we end up taking the chip out and then going downtown to help the mayor out because shit is about to go down. Oh. Oh, the game crashed. Yeah, again, that happened to me a few times. I really love this part of the game, though. It really captures the chaotic nature of what's going on here. We go around helping people out of burning buildings, protecting property, and taking out a lot of criminals that are rioting in the streets of Lost Detroits. We then fight yet another Ed 209 and just completely annihilate him with the rocket launcher. I meant grenade launcher. I really wish there was a level select in this game. I want to replay this on the regular. I also wish I could save, so I could just make a manual save. After all that, we end up going and finding Wendell yet again, and we beat him and all of his loser goons. It's a pretty rough sequence, all things considered. At the end, though, his goons don't get paid, so they just kind of bail on him. So yeah, I guess Becker was right. The market was gonna sort itself out. Instead of fighting him, though, this all plays out in a cutscene.
There is nowhere else to go, Wendell Antonowski.
That's not even my real name. OCP gave me that identity.
Okay, wait. Why was his fake name that they gave him on record as an OCP employee then? Did the old man really want OCP and this guy to be linked? Is that part of the master plan? Clearly not. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because they own the police anyway, so they can just like do stuff, I guess. I don't know. But why would you even want that associated with your company? If that got out, you'd be in big public, you had to spin spinsters really spinnily. Was this just in case Wendell got out of line and you needed RoboCop to realize that you were paying him? That wouldn't help. Yeah, no, that wouldn't make any sense at all. Yeah, this is like the one stupid part of the story that I noticed. I think it's the only one. Well, yeah, we kill the main bad guy in a cutscene, which is a little anticlimactic, I guess, but I mean, the final sequence was a decent enough challenge already. So the following action is just us talking to characters in the police station. But then...
Moments ago, what was reported as an unidentified creature has entered the OCP headquarters and is creating havoc. Reports of numerous casualties are coming in. No one seems to know what caused the chaos. Most importantly, who is going to stop it?
I guess the shift's starting early. Ready, partner?
I was born ready.
Cut to black and... Oh, I thought we were gonna go to credits after that. Okay, I have one final little level just to wrap things up, I guess. So we go up to the elevator, and I'm pretty sure you can guess where this is going. Yeah, RoboCop 2! They didn't just make the model just to make the model from that one shot. They made the model to use that motherfucker. He's back in action with the scary face and everything, although he looks a significantly worse scary face here. I really like the crude 3D models from the actual movie. I wish I would have tried to done that. But who is in RoboCop 2, you might ask?
RoboCop, I wanted to leave you a message before I undergo this procedure.
The old man! That you! I didn't know! I didn't mean to!
I'm not sure if he's even conscious of what's going on, or if this is just another example of a cyborg that isn't Murphy going crazy. Anyways, though, yeah, the final boss is RoboCop 2, and it's awesome. This fight completely destroys the offices of OCP, and I love it. Again, you really should be using anything other than the Auto 9 here. It just doesn't seem to do as much damage as other weapons. It also really helps to toss things at him. There are 3 phases to the fight, starting in the offices, then going down to the parking lot, and then back at the ground floor. At the end, we have the choice of either helping the old man, leaving him, or taking him out. In In the fallout of the events, the Japanese company is already making moves to own OCP. And we hear a lot about the original characters in this game and what they end up doing. But the journal lady just like completely dropped her investigation on OCP and just became like a daytime TV host, which, is that commentary on something? Maybe, I don't know. And that's the game. Alright, that's the end of the review. Pretty cool game. I'm excited for the sequel, DLC, whatever the hell it's supposed to be. And I do hope that it's not just more of the same, although if that ends up being the case, I'm not going to be terribly upset. But also, I don't want to like pay another like $30 to just get more of the same, but whatever, we'll see. This part of the video was originally going to be a lot more depressing because I was originally prepared to say that I think I'm kind of done with this whole video making stuff, maybe indefinitely. However, I have changed my mind, thankfully, but I'm going to slow down considerably. There's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now that I need to focus on way more than all this bullshit. Doing YouTube is fun, and it is probably the closest thing I've had to a dream of doing since middle school. And I am technically doing the thing. I'm just not generating money. Which would technically be part of the original dream. I don't really care that much about that anymore, though it would be cool to just do this. But, I mean, don't we all just want to mess around, I guess? I don't know. But as of now, my focus have considerably shifted to more important things. I can't say... Should I even show this on screen? I don't know how to use DaVinci Resolve that well yet, but I have a list of stuff that I need to get done. You can't even see it, but I'll put something there to censor it. But yeah, I have a list of stuff that I need to focus in on. Yeah, it's like some serious shit. I made a fucking physical list. It's pretty dumb, but it's important, I think. Anyways, I don't want to get into it at all. I would appreciate it if y'all this isn't a joke. I would appreciate if y'all could like pray for me and shit. That'd be pretty cool. Even if you're like some heretic, yeah, I'll appreciate them. I'm sure they're gonna somehow, I can like roleplay that those prayers are somehow going to the right God, you know, the real one. I'm gonna be slowing down a lot. I don't know, I honestly just don't know how many more of these I'm gonna be doing for a few months. Like this video itself was, I just felt no desire really to get it out as soon as I could. I could have gotten this out probably last week if I really cared. Not saying that I don't care about making videos anymore or anything like that, but just my attention is on something significantly more important than making videos. And also I just kind of lost the not motivation, but like the, not inertia because it's not really inertia, but like the inertia of the channel kind of. The last 3 videos doesn't help either. They didn't perform good at all, like at all. So that's also kind of got me a little bit down. I was thinking maybe I was uploading too frequently anyways, and I was planning on slowing them down maybe like once every 2 weeks instead of once a week, or maybe even once every 3 weeks. But as of now, it's kind of just whenever. Unfortunately, though, this does mean that the Pokemon review that I was planning on doing, the very big one, it's put on hold. I'm not even going to attempt to try to work on it on the side of other videos because I know I'm just never going to get anything done at that point. It doesn't help that I lost the save file for my first playthrough, and I plan on doing 3 separate playthroughs, which just means I'm doing 4. So yeah, that doesn't help. But yeah, more important things in my focus. I want to get buff. That's like on the list. I want to get fucking buffed and shit. I don't like when Nos calls me a twink. It makes me very upset, angry, death. Speaking of Nos, if you're watching this, that Deus Ex video ain't happened for a very long time, if ever, which is unfortunate because I do. But yeah, I'm not just gonna half-ass the video just to half-ass the video. That's stupid. But yeah, and in terms of videos, what's coming up next? I did buy a Wii and bought Wii Sports. I'm gonna be making a video on that. I think that's gonna be pretty easy to make. It's probably just gonna be more like a loose. Cause I mean, like, is anybody gonna care that I don't like go into super analytical detail about Wii Sports? Probably not. This is more like a fun kind of jokey light-hearted, not a serious video. Doing that, after that, maybe Mario World. And then after that, maybe Metroid Prime. I don't know. Carl did a Buy Me Avowed. So, and I kind of want to make a video on that. So that's probably going to happen. It's probably just going to be like a very short one. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a bait video saying it's better than Skyrim. Probably. Maybe. But yeah, so I don't know when the next time I'm going to be uploading is. I don't feel like... I don't know. I think it also depends on how this video performs. If it performs as the earlier videos in the year did, then maybe I will kind of focus a little bit harder on making videos. But if not, if it just gets like 100 views, then I guess this goes back to just being a very whenever I feel like it hobby, which, yeah, that's significantly better than just stopping altogether, I think. But yeah, that was originally going to be what I was going to be saying. Yeah, that would have been very depressing. I actually got really sad thinking about the stuff that I was going to say before I decided not to do that. Because I was thinking, yeah, I'm probably not going to do the God of War 3 video ever. Which made me very sad. But that's not the case. I'll probably do God of War 3 eventually. I don't know about God of War Chains of Olympus this year, though. It just really depends on how things turn out. If this leads to the thing I want. I'm putting something terrible on screen, and it's completely unrelated. Okay? But yeah, if I do, if my mission succeeds, then that'll be awesome. And if not, then... bruh.